Good morning, Wright State University, and welcome to the Wright Morning Show on WWSU. Start your day the right way with us. We will be covering current events in the news, local, national, and from Wright State. We will provide a daily dose of inspiration and positivity to lighten your day. And we will have a special feature depending on the day of the week. So grab your tea or your coffee, sit back, relax, and enjoy the Wright Morning Show. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of the Wright Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. You are joined this morning by me, Triple P, as well as Laughing Chipmunk on Discord. How are you doing this morning, Laughing Chipmunk? You woke up on a crazy side of the bed, huh?
I'm doing fine. I'm awake. I'm aware.
I'm trying to get there. Getting some caffeine in my system.
Yay!
All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started with your current events for today and from the past weekend. So from WHIO, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base is to begin physically handling ID cards at the gates. Wright-Patterson Air Force Base defenders will begin physically handling ID cards at installation gates beginning today. Drivers must be prepared to hand their ID card to a defender when entering the base, according to a release from the 88th Air Base wing officials. During the height of COVID-19, the Air Force Security Forces Enterprise waived the requirement for installation entry controllers to physically handle ID cards and properly vet for base access at installation points. The waiver was set out of a precaution due to the risk concern that the virus could be transmitted through physical contact. Officials said the waiver was recently reviewed by security forces along with medical professionals, and it was determined that the risk of transmission or exposure in this way is extremely low. From WHIO, an RV fire on I-70 blocked the right lane in Huber Heights. The right lane of I-70 westbound in Huber Heights is closed, or was closed at least, after an RV caught fire yesterday morning. Crews were dispatched to the fire near exit 38 just before 9:45 in the morning. Huber Heights police on scene told News Center 7 that a blown tire likely created sparks that caused something on the RV to catch fire. Police say the RV is now deemed a total loss due to the damage. It is unclear if there were any injuries, and WHIO will update the story as they learn more. From Dayton.com, the sounds of summer, where you can see music acts in the area. So there are some outdoor concert venues at the Phrase Pavilion at 695 Lincoln Park Boulevard in Kettering that you could check out. There will be Hairball on July 22nd, Sticks with special guest Night Ranger on July 23rd, Casting Crowns with special guest I Am They July 28th, The Menus July 30th, and Daughtery July 31st. They also have a list for August. You could check out Dayton.com for that list. At Hickory Hills Lakes, 7103 Ohio 55, Fort Laramie, recently announced Luke Combs, John Party, Cody Johnson, Neil McCoy, Jameson Rogers, Nico Moon, Drew Parker, Ashlyn Kraft, Jess Kelly Adams, After Midtown, and Yacht McCubbin on July 8th. Also, Alan Jackson, Justin Moore, Riley Green, Lori Morgan, Bellamy Brothers, Jesse Keith Whitley, McGuffey Lane, Alexis Gomez, Ashley Best, and Dallas Moore on July 9th. Jason Aldean, Chase Rice, Hardy, Jody Messina, Deanna Carter, Flatland Calvary, Lainey Wilson, and Desert City Ramblers, Wayne Johnson, Rain Johnson, Clark Manson, and Cole Ritter on July 10th. JD Legends 85 at 85 Miller Drive in Franklin has announced Kid Kentucky July 3rd, The Ultimate Doors on July 9th, Blues Traveler on July 16th, Red Hot Chili Peppers on July 22nd, and Tyler Booth on July 30th. There's additional listings for August and October, and also September at Dayton.com. There's a whole big list for the Levitt Pavilion. Lots of stuff happening at the Levitt Pavilion on 134 South Main Street in Dayton. We got, let's see here, Making Movies on July 8th. Kishona Armstrong, July 9th. Nasty Bingo and Amber Target and The Who's Who on July 10th. Safari on July 15th. Sarah Honey and Blue, July 16th. Jamie Suttle on July 17th. An Evening with Sinclair, July 22nd. Lowdown Brass Band, July 23rd. Tommy McGuffey and True Worship, July 24th. The Drowsy Lads, July 29th. The Reverend Horton Heat with the Hackensaw Boys and Kyle Eldridge, July 30th. And Big Sam's Funky Nation, July 31st. There's also a long list of other events happening in August and September on Dayton.com. At the Rose Music Center in the Heights, 6800 Executive Boulevard, Heber Heights, there is John Fogerty on July 16th, Three Doors Down, July 17th, The Beach Boys, July 18th, Brantley Gilbert, July 23rd, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, July 24th, Chicago on July 27th, REO Speedwagon, July 30th, and Britt Floyd, July 31st. More events are posted on Dayton.com. There's some events for BMI Indoor Speedway beginning September. There's also a couple of events happening at the Nutter Center in August and November. There's a couple of events at the Schuster Center, August and December. A couple of events at Springfield at Cuss Auditorium Clark State Performing Arts Center. And then upcoming events for Turner Pavilion and Veterans Park at 250 Cliff Park Road in Springfield. The K-Tel All-Stars on July 1st. Griffin House, July 2nd. TSA on July 10th. Urban Jazz Coalition, July 16th. And the Sly Band on July 22nd. There's a couple of events happening at Arnoff Center. Bogarts. Great American Ballpark. Billy Joel is playing at the Great American Ballpark on September 10th. There's an event at Heritage Bank Center. Icon Music Center has a couple of events in July. Come with Leela James, July 22nd. The Foo Fighters, July 28th. And then a bunch of other events happening August, September, and October. Memorial Hall has Paul Thorne with Scott Miller happening on July 29th, and then several events August through October. The PNC Pavilion at Riverband Music Center has Megadeth and Lamb of God with Trivium and In Flames on July 14th. Blackberry Smoke with the Almond Betts Band, July 18th. Kids Bop Live, July 30th. And a few events happening in August and September. The Riverband Music Center has Jimmy Buffett and the Coral Reefer Band, July 13th. Rod Stewart with Cheap Trick on July 15th. Luke Bryan, July 22nd. And some events happening August, September, and October. The Taft Theater has Whiskey Myers on July 29th, and then several events happening through December. Columbus has, at the Express Live, they have the Yvette Brothers, July 23rd, and many more events through next year. Jerome Schottenstein Center Value City Arena has Justin Bieber tomorrow. Guns N' Roses on September 23rd. Ooh, definitely going to want to attend that if you're into Guns N' Roses. And several other events through the year 2022. Nationwide Arena also has a couple of events, September and November. You can read all of these events at Dayton.com. Lots and lots and lots of music stuff happening around the area, so be sure to check that out, especially considering that we're starting to open up from the COVID pandemic.
I want to go see Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah, that's in one of the venues in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I know.
From Hamilton Journal News, the Holy Grail lost ship search. Southwest Ohio native plays key role in the Lake Michigan discovery. Inspired by the words of a Dayton teacher more than 5 decades ago, former Dayton resident Steve Libert and his team 3 summers ago found what they believe is French explorer Robert LaSalle's lost ship under the cold waves of Lake Michigan, a ship sometimes described as the Holy Grail of ships lost on the Great Lakes. President of Fairport, Michigan-based Great Lakes Exploration Group, LLC, Libert, 67, calls Charlevoix, Michigan, home. But he recalls how a teacher launched him on what became a 53-year journey, 450 miles from Charlevoix and Dayton. It all started when I lived in Huber Heights, back when it was a part of Dayton, Libert said in a new interview, his first with the Dayton Daily News. In the aftermath of the discovery, Steve and his wife Kathy authored a book on the subject, Le Griffin and the Huron Islands, 1679, Our Story of Exploration and Discovery, recently published by Mission Point Press. So be sure to check that out. You can read more at journal-news.com. From WHIO, 2 hospitalized after a shooting breaks out in a Dayton business. 2 people have been taken to the hospital after a shooting broke out at a Dayton business yesterday morning. Montgomery County Dispatch says Dayton police were called out to a reported shooting at the 2100 block of North Gettysburg Avenue around 1:06 a.m. Sunday morning. Dayton police on the scene told News Center 7 that 2 groups were arguing at a party when gunfire erupted. 2 people were shot and taken to the Miami Valley Hospital. The extent of their injuries is unknown at this time. Police say the shooter is still at large at the time of the reporting. From Flyer News, UD student remembers 2020 with a sense of melancholy. As the country is beginning to look forward to hugging our loved ones and celebrating milestones together again, we are also reflecting on what the last year of our lives had looked like. Conversations through windows, hugs through plastic curtains, celebrations through Zoom. The uncertainty, fear, and pain was almost tangible, but also the growth was life-changing. Allison Ladd is among University of Dayton students looking back on the past year with mixed feelings of sadness and gratitude, but looking forward to the future with a whole lot of hope. You can read her story by going to flyernews.com. So it's pretty cool to check out some of these stories of how COVID has impacted the lives of others. And speaking of, I believe these special collections and archives at Wright State University is still collecting COVID-19 journals and other media from those who wish to donate them to the archives. If you do donate them, they would be used for scholarly research and it would be historical records for future generations as to how the COVID-19 pandemic had panned out. So definitely make a part of history and donate your experiences with the COVID-19 pandemic. Continuing on, from WHIO, the second annual Wright Dunbar Day is taking place, or took place yesterday from 2 p.m. till 9 p.m. The event was a celebration of Dayton poet Paul Laurence Dunbar's June 27th birthday. They had close to 100 vendors, 25 food trucks, live bands, and more. West 3rd Street was blocked off for the event between South Broadway and Shannon Streets in the Wright Dunbar neighborhood. From Dayton.com, Greene County pilot flies people back in time. You can climb inside the wooden cockpit of a World War I era plane and take it for a spin right outside of Xenia. Dewey Davenport of Good Folk and O-Times Biplanes calls himself a modern-day barnstormer. I accept credit cards, Davenport joked. After World War I, Davenport said, many pilots became barnstormers, traveling the country and giving people rides in their airplanes. When the war ended, many pilots were suddenly unemployed. This was one way to make money. Many barnstormers also performed tricks with the planes, like flying loops or wing walkers who worked on the wing of the plane and performed stunts. And after the war, the plane needed the pilot, but the pilot really needed the plane, Davenport said. Davenport says he is a true barnstormer because he travels from town to town to give plane rides just like the barnstormers did in the early 20th century. He has given flights all over the Midwest from Pennsylvania to Indiana to Virginia. This is more than a plane ride for Davenport. He is passionate about the history of the planes and the people who flew them. He's also eager to share the flying experience with others. Very cool. So be sure to read more at Dayton.com about this fascinating endeavor. Continuing on from WHIO, search for missing child in Mad River at Eastwood Metro Park turns into a recovery operation. That's unfortunate. Recovery operations are set to resume at Eastwood Metro Park this morning for a child missing in the Mad River since Saturday. Rescue crews were set to return to the river this morning to resume the search for a missing 9-year-old girl who was unaccounted for after several children were seen playing in the river Saturday afternoon. Previously, Dayton Fire District Chief Mike Fosnock said that there were approximately 7 children playing when they began to struggle in the water. On Sunday, dive teams from Piqua, Mad River, Enon, and Wright-Patterson Air Force Base conducted 15 dives before crews temporarily suspended their search around 5 p.m. A dive team from Hamilton County arrived later in the evening to conduct dives until dusk. We had a lot of resources today to try and bring closure to this family, Fosnock said. Dive teams and sonar technology were not able to locate the missing child on Sunday. The Dayton Fire Department got the call about a drowning with a child in the water and initiated the search around 5:20 p.m. on Saturday, according to the Dayton Fire District Chief David Wright. Fosnock said the Good Samaritan who pulled out 2 children did a phenomenal job and noted that kayakers on the river also assisted in pulling out some of the children. You can read more at WHIO. That's a sad story. Definitely don't think that child survived, unfortunately, but here's hoping they'll find the body and bring closure to the family. From Springfield News Sung, Upper Valley mallgoers react to the preservation of Peanuts characters. The Charlie Brown Peanuts characters, usually displayed at the Upper Valley Mall around the holidays, sparked interest among the community after being donated to the Heritage Center. The former mall in Springfield is gaining attention on Facebook as community members reminisce about the collection. The mall, which closed on June 16 after decades of business, is in the hands of the Clark County Land Bank until ownership is transferred to Industrial Commercial Properties. The developer purchased the property earlier this month and plans to turn the former mall into a business park. The time frame of the ownership transfer is not set. But meanwhile, the Clark County Land Bank has given the Heritage Center permission to take any materials to memorialize the history of Clark County in the Upper Valley Mall. The Springfield News Sung's Facebook page displays reader comments about the fate of the Peanuts characters holiday display, which will be preserved at the Clark County Heritage Center. So here are some of the comments. This is a totally delightful thing to have happen. I will go see this display whenever it is displayed. Another community member was relieved to see the collection being saved. I was wondering what they were going to do with it. So glad it's not going in the trash. So you can read more at springfieldnewsung.com. We're going to now move on to global and national news now. First off, Cheddar News need to know the latest with the Miami building collapse in Florida. From the Washington Post, the death toll in the Miami condo collapse has risen to 9, with more than 150 people still unaccounted for. The last person to be pulled from the rubble alive was Thursday, as hopes fade for those still missing. An engineer warned in 2018 that he had seen major structural damage to a concrete slab below the pool deck of the Champlain Towers South building that had not been fixed at the time of the collapse. From the Associated Press, the victims of the disaster reflected Miami's diverse international population. South American immigrants, Orthodox Jews, and foreign retirees are among those killed or missing. Israel said as many as 20 of the missing residents were citizens of that country, and another 24 were from Argentina, Paraguay, Uruguay, and Venezuela. Families were allowed to visit the site over the weekend as a search and rescue operations continued. From AccuWeather, historic record highs coming out. Portland is recovering from the hottest day ever recorded in the city, 112 degrees, breaking the record of a 108 set a day earlier amid an unrelenting heat wave that's still baking the Pacific Northwest. Seattle hit 102, a new record for June, and Canada recorded its highest temperature ever, 115 degrees, in a town in British Columbia. More records are expected to fall today. The Northeast will also see the mercury rise this week, though nothing compared to what's happening out in the West. Whew. From NBC News, President Biden ordered airstrikes against Iranian-backed militias in Syria and Iraq that the Pentagon said have been using drones to attack U.S. targets in Iraq in recent weeks. It's the second time the administration has carried out bombings in the region. The militias have been launching several drones filled with explosives that then dive bomb into their targets. No Americans have been injured in the attacks, but the Pentagon is said to be concerned about the new form of warfare used by Iranian proxies. From Axios, former President Trump held his first rally since the one that led to the storming of the Capitol, traveling to Ohio to endorse a challenger to a GOP congressman who voted to impeach him. The rally came amid reports that the Trump family business could be indicted in New York as soon as this week, as well as an interview with Bill Barr in which the former attorney general broke with Trump by calling his claims of election fraud bull beep, word we cannot say on the air. From CNN, Sydney, Australia is under a 2-week lockdown in response to rising cases fueled by the Delta variant. That variant continues to make up an increasing percentage of new cases seen in the U.S., particularly in the rural South, where vaccination rates are low. Both the Pfizer and Moderna shots continue to show extremely strong efficacy against the Delta strain, though there's not enough data on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine to conclude how well that's working against the mutation. We will cover the road to Tokyo later today in our Major League Monday segment. From the box office, the Variety, the new Fast and Furious movie, F9, blew the doors off the North American box office, bringing in $70 million in its debut weekend. That's not just the best opening of the pandemic by far, but solid even by pre-pandemic standards. The industry's next big test comes in 2 weeks when Marvel's Black Widow premieres in theaters and on Disney+. So that's some promising news to hear, because there's been attempts just a few months ago to try and release new movies in movie theaters, and they did not do so well in the box office. Now, seeing this one do really well at the box office, that brings some hope that movie theaters are starting to get back on track in terms of business. Finally, from The Guardian, transportation officials in Iowa and Illinois are seriously considering a proposal by an environmentalist to turn a section of I-80 that crosses the Mississippi River in the Quad Cities into a bison preserve that would become the largest man-made wildlife crossing in the world. Chad Prigake has been campaigning to raise money to transform the decrepit bridge, stated to be torn down, into a grassy meadow and introducing a herd of bison to roam and graze to their heart's content. The idea had been waved off as crazy, but local residents and politicians have taken up the cause, and the bison bridge could break ground within 5 years. That's pretty cool. So It's always good to see wildlife bridges and things like that, especially considering how divisive our interstate system here is in the United States. Wildlife has a heck of a time trying to move around with how our interstate system divides the country. So it's nice to see some bridges like this getting built. All right, we're going to move on to the New York Times in their morning briefing. Today they're talking about Marin versus Missouri. There was a strange COVID-19 pattern in the U.S. for much of the spring. The virus was not spreading any faster in communities with low vaccination rates than those with high vaccination rates. Now, how could this be? Well, there are probably a few reasons. Many less vaccinated areas were in the South, where warm spring weather allowed people to socialize in the relative safety of the outdoors. Natural immunity might also play a role, because people who have already had the coronavirus have at least some degree of protection against it. The pattern helped feed an impression among some Americans that COVID was in retreat, regardless of how much progress a community had made in getting shots into arms. One poll of Tennessee residents last month, 51%, agreed with the statement that COVID-19 pandemic is largely over. But it's not over. COVID remains a serious threat to unvaccinated adults, especially those middle-aged or older. And the surprising trends come from the spring may be coming to an end. Cases have begun to rise more rapidly in communities with lower vaccination rates. Consider the chart, which I'm going to briefly explain on the air, which looks at the number of new cases in countries and counties across the U.S., grouping counties by the share of residents who have been fully vaccinated. So this chart details the daily average number of cases per 100,000 residents over the week ending in June 22nd. So in counties where the vaccination rate is 0 to 30%, there are 5.6 per 100,000 residents daily cases. 30 to 35% have 4.3 per 100,000. 35 to 40% have 3.2 per 100,000. 40 to 45% have 2.8. 45 to 50 have 2.7. 50 to 55 have 2.4. 55 to 60% have 2.4. And then finally, those with 60% and over vaccination rates have 2.1. So, as it is indicated, lower vaccination rate counties are experiencing higher cases. A month ago, a chart like this would have looked almost random with little relationship between caseloads and vaccination rates. But now there is a clear relationship. One likely explanation is that vaccination rates have risen high enough in some communities to crush the spread of COVID. In the spring, these places were still coping with significant outbreaks, but they're not anymore. In Marin County, just over the Golden Gate Bridge from San Francisco, for instance, more than 90% of people aged 12 and above have received at least one shot. And as a result, Marin has virtually extinguished the virus with only 3 new COVID cases per day in recent weeks. A second explanation for the new divergence between more and less vaccinated places is the Delta variant. It appears to be making vaccination even more valuable. The vaccines are effective against Delta, sharply reducing the chances of infection and nearly eliminating any chance of serious illness. For unvaccinated people, however, Delta is significantly more contagious than earlier variants. Missouri offers the clearest example. Over the past week, it has reported more new COVID cases per capita than any other state, and they are concentrated in rural areas that have low vaccination rates, as Charles Gaba, a healthcare analyst, has noted. In the parts of the state with high vaccination rates, like the metro areas of Kansas City, St. Louis, and Columbia, the number of new cases remains very low. You can read more about this story from the New York Times. Some other news happening, according to the New York Times, rescue teams did not find any survivors this weekend in the rubble of a collapsed building near Miami. The likelihood of doing so is unfortunately falling. The authorities have confirmed 9 deaths, but fear the real toll is much higher, because more than 150 people are still unaccounted for. Engineers suspect a failure at the bottom of the tower may have caused the collapse. In politics, Republican supporters of the bipartisan infrastructure plan say they believe they can find enough votes to overcome a filibuster. President Biden ordered airstrikes on facilities at the Iraq-Syria border that the Pentagon said were used by Iranian-backed militias. A heat wave in the Pacific Northwest is sending temperatures into the triple digits, according to a record-breaking 110 in Portland, Oregon yesterday, according to the New York Times, The principal at a New Jersey high school cut off a valedictorian speech about queer identity. Oof. And that is unfortunate. In the Euro 2020 soccer tournament, Belgium beat Portugal, the defending champion, and the Czech Republic beat the Netherlands. That concludes your current events for today. We're going to go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we are going to get into your weather forecast as well as Wright State news and events. You're listening to the Wright Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM, Fairborn, Dayton. Don't go anywhere. Right Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. Welcome back to the Wright Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. Now joined by us via telephone is Harmony. How are you doing this morning, Harmony?
Oh, I'm okay now. I was a little out of harmony with the world there. I didn't wake up till just a few minutes ago.
Hey, so
work was a beast last night, so
lots of chaos. You said, was ensuing last night.
Lots of yelling, screaming, crying, phone call after phone call, people in distress. Just I don't know. I think it's the shadow of retro, the Mercury retrograde that's still getting at everybody. Last night, we should be in the clear this week, though, but, oh, God, yeah.
I
I'm
will.
alive. I'm awake.
I will tell you. I was out riding my bicycle last night, and I kind of looked up on the moon. And I got this weird energy, like weird feeling from the moon. So yeah,
Yeah, I was
something's definitely going on.
floating around because I was feeling a little weird myself energetically. Didn't know exactly where it was coming from. So went ahead and smudged and black salted because I got some new cool black salt in the mail.
Nice.
But other than that, I think there was something up with that because I think a few days ago we did have a super full moon.
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah.
remember hearing about that.
And I feel like we just kind of passed through like some shift of energy pretty much. I haven't read it yet. It's on my iPhone needing to be read. So,
All
but
right.
I'll find out and report it. But yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Let's get into your weather forecast. The current weather at Wright State University is mostly clear with a temperature. It's already 80 degrees and it's only 9:30 in the morning.
I know it's a hot one and it's humid too.
Yeah, we were talking earlier today that Canada had their. You may be interested in hearing about this, Harmony. Canada had their highest temperature recorded to date yesterday. You want to guess what it was?
Let's see. Well, they're going to go by Celsius. I got to go by American stupidity because I don't know
Yeah,
the metric system that well.
same here.
I would say maybe about like 100 and maybe 5 or 10.
Nope,
Just
higher.
to guess.
115.
Wow.
Yeah, in one of the British Columbia areas. Like,
Wow.
holy crap.
Well, BC. I mean, that's always a nice place. I don't think it ever snows there.
Yeah,
It's more tropical,
yeah, true.
kind of like Hawaii.
But yeah, it's brutal in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, it seems to be the trend right now is, and this is normally like, okay, yeah, July is at the end of this week, but it seems like we go straight from spring and we slam right into midsummer heat of July.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, the elements are definitely shifting, changing. You can definitely feel that the poles are shifting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's crazy out there.
Continuing the current weather, the wind is coming from the south-southwest at 5 miles per hour. The humidity is 63%. The dew point is 66 degrees. The visibility is 10 miles, and the air quality is good. Your hyperlocal forecast for the next 12 hours calls for clear to partly cloudy skies. For the next 12 hours. The temperatures are going to approach 85 degrees by 10 a.m. and 90 degrees by 1 p.m. And then our high is going to be 91 degrees, which is going to happen at about 3 p.m. And then it's not going to start cooling down until after 7 p.m. tonight.
Sling your personal fans around your neck, people.
Yeah.
Get your spray bottles and keep hydrated.
Here is the extended weather forecast brought to you by the National Weather Service at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Today's forecast, sunny with a chance of thunderstorms in the afternoon. High around 90. Tonight, partly cloudy, low around 70. Tuesday, a chance of thunderstorms, high around 90. Tuesday night, a chance of thunderstorms, low in the lower 70s. Wednesday, showers, high in the mid-80s. Wednesday night, showers, low around 70. Here's some news you might be glad to hear. Maybe not the rain, but the temperature. Thursday, showers, much cooler, high around 80.
Oh, well, it's a little better.
Yeah. The only problem is going to be the showers. It's probably going to keep the air muggy.
Nice, yeah. That means it's going to rain in my room again.
All right. Thursday night, showers likely, low in the mid-60s. Friday, partly sunny in the morning with a chance of showers developing in the afternoon, high in the upper 70s. And then finally, Friday night, a chance of showers in the evening, followed by partly cloudy skies with a low around 60. Coming up on July 4th, it looks like we're going to have a pretty good weather forecast for July 4th. There may be a very slight chance of a thunderstorm, but otherwise it'll be mostly sunny with a high near 80. Perfect weather if you want to go out and grill.
Or go watch fireworks.
Yeah, definitely. So now we're going to get into some Wright State news. Actually, we're going to start with campus announcements first. The Master of Public Health Virtual Open House is July 6th from noon to 12:30 p.m. With the entire world affected by a pandemic, public health is on everyone's mind. The public health field benefits the lives of people in every walk of life. We invite you to discover whether this exciting career field might be right for you. Now, why should you consider our Wright State's Master of Public Health program? It's the only accredited public health program in Raider Country. Partnership with 9 public health departments across Southwest Ohio. Specializations in epidemiology, public health leadership, health promotion, and integration with medicine. There are full and part-time options. Evening courses available with online, hybrid, and in-person classes. Join faculty and staff to ask questions about the programs and learn about the benefits during the free virtual open house. You can get more information about admissions, curriculum, and more. There is a register link on your Wings account, so just go to wings.wright.edu if you are interested in attending the July 6th open house. Calling all incoming freshmen and sophomores. The Freshman Outdoor Orientation Trip, or FOOT, is a unique wilderness experience that will take place before school begins. Trained upperclassmen leading backpacking trips among the Appalachian Trails in Tennessee. FOOT offers an amazing opportunity for incoming students to meet a small group of new classmates and to establish new relationships with older student leaders. You will hike, camp, cook outdoors, play games, swim in waterfalls, and spend a day giving back to the mountains by learning how to build and maintain hiking trails. These trips are designed for all levels of experience. There are no prior backpacking experience is necessary. It is now open to both incoming freshmen and sophomores who missed out on a classic intro to college in 2020 because of the COVID pandemic. You can register at your Wings account, wings.wright.edu. The cost of the trip, which is listed on the website, also includes transportation, trip leaders, equipment, permit fees, camping fees, and all meals will be provided on location. Do you think engineering is not right for you? This class may change your mind. ISE 1110, Introduction to Engineering Science Applications for All, is a 4-credit hour class, which is 3 for lecture and 1 for lab, available coming up. You can register for this class. It is now approved as an Element 6 Natural Science course in the Wright State Core, as well as a CCP course. So for more information, you could contact Danny Heater, Director of Academic Services, at danielheater@wright.edu. The systems are going to be unavailable from June 30th and July 1st. To accommodate the fiscal year-end reconciliation, the following systems will be unavailable from 6 p.m. on Wednesday, June 30th, until 1 a.m. on Thursday, July 1st. Those services that will be unavailable include Wings Express, Banner Admin, Parking Services, Wright One Card Services, Wright Buy, Payments in Salesforce, Student Onboarding in Salesforce, and all online payments. And our last announcement, become a disease detective next semester. Disease detective course, PPH 2200. Are you curious about how infectious diseases are tracked and investigated? The Wright State University Disease Detectives course highlights the history of epidemiological concepts, discusses current investigative tactics, and prepares you for a future in public health. You can develop skills to track infectious diseases. You will develop skills to collect, analyze, and present data on agent, host, and environmental factors contributing to the cause and spread of infectious disease. Learn from the experts. You'll learn how to investigate diseases like HIV, foodborne illnesses, and COVID-19 from public health experts. Practice what you learn and take part in real-world infectious disease case studies that track outbreaks, epidemics, and pandemics. The class size is limited, so be sure to register now for PPH 2200. There are other courses you can also take for more public health experience, including PPH 2000 Global Health and PPH 2100 Climate Change and Health. Harmony, you kind of got a chuckle out of the disease detective thing. Did you wanted to say something
No,
about
I'm
it?
just cackling to myself because a former friend of mine is a major germaphobe. So I was thinking about all those people out there that are just like, ooh, like she was big on tossing out anything in her kitchen at the expiration date, even if it was still good.
Mm-hmm. Ah,
So
yeah.
constantly Clorox wiping, and oh yeah, she definitely had it down there.
All right, we're going to go to Wright State news. I only have one piece of news, non-sports related. We're going to get into sports during Major League Monday at 10:30 today. But in terms of, oh, actually, I have two articles. First off, from the Wright State newsroom, the Wright State University Ross Thorn College of Business has maintained its business and accounting accreditation by AACSB International, the Association to Advance Collegiate Schools of Business. Founded in 1916, AACSB International is the longest serving global accrediting body for business schools that offer undergraduate, master's, and doctoral degrees in business and accounting. AACSB accreditation is the hallmark of excellence in business education and has been earned by less than 5% of the world's business programs. Today, 901 business schools in 58 countries and territories maintain AACSB accreditation, and 189 institutions maintain an additional specialized AACSB accreditation for their accounting programs. The undergraduate program of the Ross Thorn College of Business was initially accredited in 1974, with the graduate programs receiving initial accreditation in 1980. The accountancy program was separately accredited in 1990. Since then, the Ross Thorn College of Business has maintained its accredited status by ensuring the highest level of quality in teaching, research, and service. The College of Business is mindful of creating a student-focused environment that emphasizes experiential learning and career placement. The college is also cognizant of the value of nurturing strong partnerships with industries and retaining exceptional faculty. Over the last 5 years, the college has developed several new programs and offerings, including the new Center for Career Management, which connects business students to employers through career preparation activities, internships, and career placement. The degree completion program, designed for students who have left college without earning a bachelor's degree by providing financial aid and support services to complete their degree, and the Passport to Success app, which was developed by a team of business students and is used to incentivize and track student participation in events and activities. The AACSB peer review team complimented the college in 3 distinct areas, recognizing that the research accomplishments of the college faculty exceeded all previous accreditation review periods in volume and quality. Learning outcomes were achieved by the students of all business programs and exceeded predetermined thresholds, and the college's community participation and impact rose to new heights through students' hands-on learning projects with businesses as well as professional engagements between faculty and the community. We are naturally very pleased to have our AACSB accreditations in both business and accounting extended to the maximum 5-year term, said Tom Trainer, PhD, Dean of the Ross Thorn College of Business. The extension of these accreditations is a well-deserved confirmation of the excellent quality of our college business degree programs. It is also a testament to the exceptional work done by our outstanding faculty, staff, and business partners on behalf of our wonderful students. To learn more about AACSB International, you could go to the accreditation section of their international website, www.aacsb.edu/accreditation. Some piece of news for first-year students at Wright State. Wright State University announced last Wednesday that it extended the deadline for scholarships available to new students who enroll directly from high school for the 2021-22 academic year. An eligible student has to be admitted and enrolled for the fall semester, which begins August 23rd, to qualify for one of the first-year scholarships. Admitted first-year students automatically will be considered for an academic performance scholarship based on their high school grade point average. Students with a high school GPA of 3.2 or higher will qualify. Recent high school graduates also will be considered for a need-based scholarship when they submit their FAFSA to Wright State. Anyone not familiar with the FAFSA is encouraged to attend one of Wright State's financial aid one-on-one virtual events or sign up for a one-on-one appointment. You could go to wright.edu/FAFSA 101. Got Harmony calling out to her cat. I'm just waiting for the meow to come on the air.
Oh, yeah, it should be soon. He's been meowing all morning.
Wright State's admission application is free for the FAFSA. Students can apply at wright.edu/apply. Kim Everhart, Director of Financial Aid, said Wright State extended the scholarship deadline for new freshmen coming to Wright State directly from high school because we know that during the national emergency, plans change and they change again. The scholarship deadline was a barrier to an affordable education, and Wright State wants to support students who have faced challenges during the pandemic, she said. For the 2021 and 2022 academic year, scholarship offers will be made based on a review of each student's admission application and FAFSA. Wright State will also offer a one-time $1,000 presidential welcome scholarship based on need to recent high school graduates who are Ohio residents. You could go to wright.edu/first-year scholarships for more information. So pretty cool there.
Nice.
We move now into free-form discussion. So, Harmony, I know you had a crazy Sunday, that's for sure.
Oh, God, yeah. It's nuts.
And Laughing Chipmunk, anything happening over in your neck of the woods in West Virginia?
No, not really.
Same old, same old.
Same old, just, noisy foot traffic, walking down the street at, 3 and 4 something in the morning and
Nice.
talking and yelling as loud as they can. And then we got a dude with a motorcycle that could wake the dead.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I hate those. We get a couple of those every now and then over here in Cimarron. I believe one of the residents has a car that has a bad, I guess, bad combustion
Muffler.
engine. Well,
Maybe
not.
muffler.
I wouldn't say it's a muffler because it's a car that backfires a lot. So I'm thinking it's a
Oh.
combustion
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I could have used
But
that for an alarm clock this morning.
This motorcycle, I can understand that motorcycles need to be loud to a certain degree. But this one, oh my gosh. I mean, I have 2 elderly neighbors across the street from me. They're both in their 90s. They're both, very hard of hearing. And one so much more than the other. But, oh my gosh, they could even hear this motorcycle without any problem.
Oh, funny.
It's like a freaking jet engine going down the
Wow.
street.
Wow.
That's crazy.
It's just too loud. I mean, it exceeds the normal limit of what a motorcycle is supposed to sound like.
You need to get one of those decibel readers and see how loud
Oh,
it is.
I don't.
I don't know, but he's jolted me awake, a few times. Just jolted me out of. I'd be in a deep sleep too, and I'd be jolted awake by this, loud, flapping noise, and I'm like, oh my gosh, really? Give me a break. So anyway, I'm done with my crabbing. So
Okay. I have an
it's the
interesting.
usual in Parkersburg. So
Oh, God.
take it away, guys.
I have an interesting one when you were talking about the business college there at Wright State. Fun fact, I have 2 cousins that are older. One's in her 70s now and one's in her, I think, mid-60s. and both of them had attended Wright State University's business program back in, at least the older one, back in the 70s, when Wright State's campus was only one building. Can you believe it?
Yeah, it
One
used to just
building.
be a college instead of a university.
Yep, that's where she went and got her business degree, and it was only one building. And I look at the place now, and I'm like, wow, it just kind of popped up all over the place.
Mm-hmm. I forget how many colleges we have now at Wright
You've
State.
got the School of Medical Sciences. You've got
we got a new
biological sciences.
Yeah.
You've got engineering, which is interesting because for the longest time, University of Dayton was the leader in engineering school. People all over the United States, were going there. Now Wright State's another prime. You've got a good theater department and, performing arts center.
Yeah, we got the motion
quite
picture
a few
center.
attractions for folks these days. Yeah.
We got the I keep forgetting the name of it. It's a pretty new building. Begins with an N. I don't know my own campus.
Well, I wouldn't know. I haven't been there in forever, but and even when I went, it's funny too, because when I went, I remember, and this is just social life on campus, fraternities and sororities, there were like only 4. There were only 4.
Oh, wow.
And now when you look at it, it's a big, long list of fraternities and sororities.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, that's pretty amazing.
And
because we had like the Delta Zeta, which was something I was getting into.
Nice.
And then I can't remember, it was a Sigma something or other. But yeah, there was one co-ed.
Wasn't it Sigma Epsilon Rho?
Well, that was the one we made up. That's the one that we were gonna. Yeah, that's the one that we had. One of the faculty advisors as our chief in command, and that's the one that we were trying to get started. But,
I know there's a Sigma Phi Epsilon now. That's a fraternity.
Yes. But yeah, there was one co-ed, and then there were only 3 other ones to choose from. So
and there's even there's specialized fraternities and sororities too. There's one for music and performance too. So.
Right, because there should be some. Actually, I think University of Dayton has it, but I'm not sure if you guys do. There was one especially for radio broadcasting.
No, we don't have one.
Yeah, I know UD has that, and then I'm sure there's one for the medical folks, and probably every single place on campus that's near and dear to whoever's heart. But there's like a variety, and when I went, it was funny because we had the wooden mailboxes in Allen Hall, and now your mailbox is your computer.
Yeah.
A lot's changed. A lot has changed. We've come a long way.
Oh, we still get mail. It's mostly CDs though. We get a bunch of CDs from local artists and things like that, wanting us to check out their music and put it on the air.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. I think we're going to go ahead and take a top of the hour ID break, and when we come back, we will get into the Daily Reflection. You're listening to the Wright Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
This is Yarly G, and you're now listening
Back to the Wright Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. Welcome back to the Wright Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. It is time for the Daily Reflection, and today we got an interesting one. One that we don't usually think about all that often, and also from a source that I haven't used before for the Daily Reflection. So this should be an interesting topic today. Today, we are going to be talking about toxic positivity. Usually when we think, as Harmony had pointed out, usually when we think of toxicity, we think negativity. But today we're going to talk about how being too positive can also be toxic.
Oh, yes.
So this is an article from the Psychology Group on toxic positivity, written by Samara Quintero and Jamie Long. We're not negative Nancy's. In fact, as the authors of this post, we strongly believe in the undeniable power of positivity. While there is certainly something to be said for having a sunny disposition on life, it's also possible to overdose on the sickeningly sweet nectar of platitudes such as everything is awesome. This blog post will address the dark side of the positive vibes trend called toxic positivity, how its overuse could cause harm and leads to the very suffering it aims to quash. Here's a quote from Mark Manson, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Beep, a counterintuitive approach to living a good life. Everything worthwhile in life is won through surmounting the associated negative experience. Any attempt to escape the negative, to avoid it or quash it or silence it, only backfires. The avoidance of suffering is a form of suffering. The avoidance of struggle is a struggle. The denial of failure is a failure. Hiding what is shameful in itself is a form of shame. That's a pretty interesting quote there.
Read that again one more time just to let it sink in for everybody.
Everything worthwhile in life is won through surmounting the associated negative experience. Any attempt to escape the negative, to avoid it or quash it or silence it, only backfires. The avoidance of suffering is a form of suffering. The avoidance of struggle is a struggle. The denial of failure is a failure. Hiding what is shameful is itself a form of shame. So,
very true, very true.
Let us define toxic positivity. We define toxic positivity, we, the authors of the blog, that is, as the excessive and ineffective overgeneralization of a happy, optimistic state across all situations. The process of toxic positivity results in the denial, minimization, and invalidation of the authentic human emotional experience. Just like anything done in excess, when positivity is used to cover up or silence the human experience, it becomes toxic. By disallowing the existence of certain feelings, we fall into a state of denial and repressed emotions. The truth is, humans are flawed. We get jealous, angry, resentful, and greedy. Sometimes life can just flat out suck. By pretending that we are positive vibes all day, we deny the validity of a genuine human experience. I'm going to pause there, so I'm going to ask Harmony and Laughing Chipmunk, when you think of toxic positivity, what do you think of?
Oh, God, I think of somebody, like, blowing unicorn farts and rainbows and honking horns and throwing confetti and balloons and just, you know, nothing bothers me, just irritate me and I love you more, you know, all that. Just, I don't know, it's just sickening because they avoid everything. And I think that's what makes it so toxic.
Yeah.
Is that you're not allowing the human experience, as they say, you know, to course through and deal with it. You're just shoving all that confetti under the carpet and making it like a bigger mess than what it could be by avoiding all situations. So, of course, it's going to make things a lot worse emotionally, mentally, because you're not dealing, you're denying, and what you resist will always persist.
Yeah. I forgot to mention real quick, if anybody who is listening wants to comment on our topics of toxic positivity or
Jump
anything
in.
on the radio show, you could go to our website, wwsu1069.org. That's wwsu1069.org. Click the green play button, and then in the menu on the left, you could click Chat with DJ, and there you could leave us messages, and we will respond to those messages. You can also, if you are in our Discord server, you could chat with us in Discord. There is a join Discord link on our website if you want to join our Discord. If neither of those work for you, you could also text my personal number at 937-490-9775, 937-490-9775, and I will leave feedback from your text messages as well. But the most anonymous, if you want to be anonymous, use the website. Use the chat on our website.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Lefty Chimok, what do you think of when we say toxic positivity?
Same thing that Harmony thinks.
Have you
Farting the unicorn rainbows and being blind to reality and acting like everything is just perfect and wonderful, and I'm like, open your eyes.
Yeah.
I believe our psychologists would call that being delusional, not just toxic
Yeah.
positivity, but there's some delusion there as well, for sure.
All right, continuing on. Here are some signs of toxic positivity.
Ooh, confetti. Rainbow farts.
Number 1, hiding or masking your true feelings. Number 2, trying to get on with it by stuffing or dismissing emotions. Number 3, feeling guilty for feeling what you feel. Number 4, minimizing other people's experiences with feel-good quotes or statements. Number 5, trying to give someone perspective, such as, it could be worse, instead of validating their emotional experience. Number 6, shaming or chastising others for expressing frustration or anything other than positivity. And number 7, brushing off things that are bothering you with, it is what it is.
I think I'm guilty of number 3 and the very last one.
I'm guilty of the last one for sure. Because I tend to view things that happen in life as, well, it's meant to happen. It is what it is. And
well, we have choices.
Yeah,
so
that's the thing. That's the thing.
It's everybody's is. We're all sovereign over ourselves. And in that, we have choices, and our choices do affect not only us, but others as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like, we could say it is what it is, as in, things happen in life. But sometimes when we say it is what it is, in the process, we forget that we can do something about it.
Exactly. We have the power. We have the control. No one else does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about why toxic positivity is bad for our health. Good old Carl Jung. Here's a quote from him. I'd rather be whole than good. So I thought that's pretty interesting.
That is. He was a pioneer of the time as far as psychologists went, because he took a very spiritual approach into psychotherapy. And his mother was actually, from what we're seeing, I believe she was Wiccan or pagan or something of that, line, because she was very intuitive. She was a very intuitive woman, and he was definitely very intuitive and ahead of his time as well.
Very cool. So let's talk about shame. To force a positive outlook on pain is to encourage a person to keep silent about their struggles. Most of us don't want to be seen as a drag or bad, so when the choice is between being brave and honest or pretend like everything is going great, we might be tempted to adopt the latter. Author and researcher Brene Brown, which I've also heard of her
She's
before.
awesome. She is awesome. She's got a couple great podcasts. Check out her website, BreneBrown.com. She's amazing. She's got great books.
She teaches in several of her books, presentations, and interviews that the energy source of shame is silence, secrecy, and judgment.
Yes.
In other words, where there is hiding, secrets, and denial, shame is usually in the driver's seat.
Mm-hmm.
Shame is crippling to the human spirit and one of the most uncomfortable feelings that we can feel. Often we don't even know that we are feeling shame. And here's a clue on how to know it's there. Just ask yourself, if they knew blank about me, what would they think? Or, something I wouldn't want the world to know about me is blank.
Mm-hmm.
If you can fill in that blank with anything, whether it be a situation, a feeling, or an experience, there is a high likelihood that there is some shame around that. Now, what do you think, Harmony, about that? About that quote-unquote test?
I completely agree, because it's going to unearth some things that, are probably pretty prickly that you need to address.
Mm-hmm.
I, for instance, can relate to that. I could fill in the blanks quite easily.
Same here.
But I feel like it's going to be, a little bit different for everybody. But, and I do agree that we are all pretty much guilty of stuffing emotions. And, of course, societally, it's always been portrayed that way for men and young boys to don't cry, don't express your emotions, you're a man, you're not supposed to do those kind of things. But, that's not good. We need to express our feelings, our emotions, and be our authentic selves, regardless of what other people think. We need to be us, know.
Now, I'm going to ask both of you, both Harmony and Laughing Chipmunk, what is shame like for you? Like, what do you experience when you go through shame?
I'll let you go first, Chippy.
Well, embarrassment. For one.
Embarrassment's a big one when it comes to shame.
Yeah, because it's like, if you do something stupid and you're ashamed of yourself, you're also embarrassed. Because you're like, what was I thinking? Why did I do that?
What about you, Harmony?
I have a totally different twist on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Long-standing kind of issue. I've always felt very, I guess, insecure about my physical being. So, of course, I've got the long-standing damages from rheumatoid arthritis, so it makes Harmony a little bit of a pretzel physically. But, there's some days when I can be okay with absolutely every single part of me, but then when I go out somewhere, it's like you're either the spectacle of, wow, what the hell, or, people just need no big deal. So, for the most part, you kind of get a little programmed. Plus, I had a crazy grandmother that was just very embarrassing about the whole situation itself. So she made me feel very self-conscious, and to this day, I still have moments of where I do feel pretty self-conscious. And, it's something that I have to work at all the time, especially when I'm out somewhere or meeting new people or, just in social settings itself. So it's something that I always deal with and something that I must hurdle. I'm just knowing one day I will completely eliminate that. It's not as bad as what it used to be, but it is still there a little bit. So I can relate to that.
Progress, though.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Definitely making progress on that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about suppressed emotions, which is another big one when it comes to toxic positivity. Several psychological studies show us that hiding or denying feelings leads to more stress on the body and increased difficulty in avoiding the distressing thoughts and feelings. They have 3 articles on this. They literally put see here, here, and here.
Oh, God. I believe it, because it
yeah.
is. It's very stressful to keep all that crap in. For example, what I just revealed to our listeners and to you is something I don't discuss with anyone. It's something I always keep to myself, generally. I never usually bring things like that up. But for me to bring that up and out is a very big thing for me. So, and if you sit on it and repress it, yeah, it does get at you after a while.
Moogle agrees.
Yeah. Yeah. He's down the hallway.
That's funny.
Yeah.
In one study, for example, research participants were divided into 2 groups and shown disturbing medical procedure films while their stress responses were measured.
Oh, God.
that's like
what a fun day. Don't
like
forget
torture.
the popcorn. Don't forget the popcorn.
One group was asked to watch the videos while letting their emotions show, whilst the second group of subjects were asked to watch the films and act as if nothing was bothering them.
Oh, yeah, right.
And guess
Nice.
what? The participants who suppressed their emotions and acted as if nothing bothered them had significantly more psychological arousal. This is from Gross and Levinson, 1997.
Again, we're not talking arousal in a good way either, so yeah.
Yeah. The emotional suppressors may have appeared cool and calm, but on the inside, stress was erupting. These types of studies show us that expressing a broad range of emotions, even the not-so-positive ones, having words to describe how we feel, and facial expressions to emote, yep, that can mean crying as well, help us regulate our stress response. When we don't want to show a part of ourselves, we create a fake face or public persona for the world. That face can sometimes look cherry with a happy smile, stating, everything happens for a reason, it is what it is. When we go into hiding like that, we deny our truth. The real truth is, life can hurt sometimes. If you're angry and the angry feelings are not acknowledged, they get buried deep within our body. Suppressed emotions can then later manifest in anxiety, depression, or even physical illness. It's important to acknowledge the reality of our emotions by verbalizing them and moving them out of our bodies. This is what keeps us sane, healthy, and relieves us of the tension caused by suppressing the truth. Once we honor our feelings, we embrace all of ourselves, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And accepting ourselves just as we are is the path to a robust emotional life. So let's talk a little bit about repressing emotions. Harmony, Laffy Chimmuck, sure you could agree with me here. You've had times where you've repressed emotions before. What is that like for you?
Chippy,
Hard to
chipmunk
do.
first.
Can you repeat that, Laffy Chimmuck?
Well, repressing my emotions is pretty hard for me to do. Especially when it comes to my anger. Everybody knows that.
We always joke about you being the hot redhead.
Yeah. I am the hot redhead. Anything that ticks me off, yeah, you hear about it. But, all my other emotions, it's hard to repress, like if I'm sad, because, it's my depression disorder. It makes it really hard to, sometimes I kind of try to cover up my depression if I'm around other people. Because I don't want to be, I don't want to be like a crybaby. I hate being a crybaby around other people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it's hard to it's kind of hard to cover up, my depression. My other emotions, I don't like holding back, like on affection. I like to give affection. You know,
Mm.
I'm a huggy person. You know, I just, you know what I mean.
Speaking of huggy, I should probably let you know that Cassie from the center says she gives you big hugs because they're not going to be there on the 10th, or the 11th rather, which is probably when you're going to be up in town.
Right. Yeah. Aw. Well, next time you see her, tell her I said I give her a bunch of hugs back.
The next time I'm going to see them is in August.
Yeah, well, I'll tell her
Oh,
later.
please.
I'll tell her later tonight because I plan on calling her. I need to talk to her about a few things.
Okay.
Okay, you could tell her for me then.
There you go.
All
I
right.
miss everybody.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like anger is like, when we look at emotions and things like that. We were discussing yesterday, some clients and I. Anger is more or less in that category of fear, because when we're angry, there's always some sort of fear-based situation behind it. It's like we don't have the control, or we're trying to get things moving in a specific direction. But it's like when we're operating through anger or any sort of emotion like that, it's always fear. Like we said, there's either love or fear. You're either coming out of one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to get yourself back into an alignment. And the other day we were discussing about how fear just kind of wells up, sometimes takes over. So that falls into that category as much as like jealousy and irritation and all that other stuff. It's something that we need to like figure out within us, because what's happening is, we need to stop instead of screaming and identify what that anger is over. And if it's a certain person, we need to go communicate that to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to them if they're going to listen or not. And if they don't want to listen, fine, so be it. Kick them in the butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it may not be the right time to address it. Sometimes
Exactly.
Sometimes you got to wait a little bit.
Exactly. But at least you have to identify it, isolate it, find out why you're angry and irritated, and then work on that. Because you can overcome it, and that's not being toxic positivity.
Mm-hmm.
It's fact of life. We get upset, we get, emotionally bogged down or whatever. We need to figure out what the source is, because 9 times out of 10, it's not what's peeing you off about the other person. It's what's peeing you off that's inside of you. And sometimes other people tend to be the mirror for us, to see where we are so we can heal the cracks in our pavement.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to isolation and other relational problems. In denying our truth, we begin to live inauthentically with ourselves and with the world. We lose connection with ourselves, making it difficult for others to connect and relate to us. We might look unbreakable from the outside, but on the inside, we're just scared little teddy bears longing for a hug.
Yes, little Teddy Grahams.
Have you ever been around a sweet, sugary, I just think happy hot's Pollyanna kind of person?
Oh, yes.
How comfortable are you with spilling your guts about the deep emotions you're feeling?
Not, because they're so fake.
Yeah, true.
Like, is this person for real?
Even though that person might have the best intentions in the world, the message they are mindlessly sending is only good feelings are allowed in my presence. Therefore, it makes it really difficult to express anything but good vibes around them, and consequently, you end up complying with the implied rules of, I can only be a certain kind of person around you, I can't be myself. I'm going to pause here because I have a thought about this. So when you encounter somebody who has really good vibes, you may think to yourself, I could turn to this person if I want to feel good, because they make me feel good or whatever. But you wouldn't necessarily turn to them to discuss, challenges and things like that you're having in your life. You would just go to them for uplifting things. And sometimes, sometimes that's just a temporary fix, so to speak, to your situation.
Yeah. Fart a few rainbows, pop a few balloons. But yeah, I mean, I know somebody actually who's very like light-bodied, effervescent, very, very good person. I've known her for a long time, and I sometimes wonder what bubbles underneath that because I think to myself, how can she be happy all the time? I mean, I know I've seen her down. I know I've seen her upset. I've seen her frustrated, sure. But for the majority, I mean, there's something, and maybe it's me, because, I have my little swarmy swamp moments, but maybe I feel like, can she be this happy all the time? I know she gets frustrated with her children and husband and this and that, but it's like, can you really be that happy? What's up with that?
Mm-hmm. And I've noticed, like, sometimes the best people to approach to actually talk about what's on your mind and what you're feeling are the people who themselves, are very honest, even if it's brutal with other people. Because, you could trust that these types of people are not only honest, but they don't hide, what's going on or how they're feeling in favor of appearing positive. They'll tell it as it is, and so you could usually trust them with what's going on in your mind.
Right. I only have a couple, well, actually just a few people, that I can do that with. I can't do that with everybody.
Yeah,
So,
same here.
Yeah.
So the relationship, continuing the article, the relationship with yourself is often reflected in the relationship you have with others. If you can't be honest about your own feelings, how will you ever be able to hold space for someone else expressing real feelings in your presence? Wow.
Very
That
true.
literally is just parodying off of what I just said. That's funny.
Read that one more time for the absorption rate of the public.
If you cannot be honest about your own feelings, how will you ever be able to hold space for someone else expressing real feelings in your presence?
Exactly. I like that.
Yeah. By curating a fake emotional world, we attract more fakeness, resulting in counterfeit intimacy and superficial friendships. So here are some ways you can combat toxic positivity. Instead of saying, don't think about it, stay positive, say, describe what you're feeling. I'm listening. Instead of saying, don't worry, be happy.
Pop a few balloons, grab that bag of confetti, and shove it where the sun don't shine. So there we go.
Instead of saying that, say, I see that you're really stressed. Is there anything I could do? Instead of saying failure is not an option, say failure is a part of growth and success.
Yeah.
And as Harmony says, failure is an option.
It is a success because it's going to lead you to that success because you just keep doing it until you get it right, basically.
See,
and this is called de-escalation, by the way. This is called de-escalating a situation that could get extremely toxic because if you say the wrong thing at the wrong time, like my client was screaming at me for an hour last night because of this, and it wasn't my fault. She'd gone to her veterinary clinic and was treated poorly by an office manager, and instead of the office manager de-escalating the situation, she told her, well, calm down, your dog's fine and you should be too. So you don't do that. You say, well, I understand that it was really hard for you, and I'm just grateful that your dog is fine and that we were able to help. But no, this woman just went off, was rude, had a aggressive posture, and was being very aggressive towards the lady. So it was not a good trip. So yeah, always be careful of how you address someone when they're in a state, because it's the difference between making them worse emotionally and helping them to get better emotionally in that moment. Yeah.
And it's interesting that you mentioned, failure is I can't talk.
Failure is a success.
Is a success, yeah.
Yes.
Because it really is. Failure is a mark that you tried. the way I see it is it's better to fail than to not try at all because it means you tried, and the next time you do it, you are going to be better because you learned from your failure. You uh, grew from your failure. You got that experience, and now you could take that experience the next time you try.
Exactly. It's like last night I was making a banana bread. And I put too much olive oil in my batter.
Oof.
Yeah, but I was able to put more pancake batter and chocolate chips and flour in there, so it's crack cake. And for the most part, I'm sitting there thinking, well, wow, that's probably going to turn out like crap. And actually, my goof up actually made it turn out better. So
Oh,
failures, things that we think are failures, could actually turn out to be our successes and our, and our best pieces.
Just
Look at the Mona Lisa.
yeah. I was gonna say that, and also if you look at some of the most popular inventions in history, a lot of them were failures. Like
Exactly.
they were accidental inventions.
Mhm.
Somebody was shooting for something else, ended up with something else, and that thing that they came up with ended up being very useful.
Yeah, like at penicillin, like at
Hmm.
wasn't it an Alexander Graham Bell, one of the
Yeah, I think so.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think there was something there. So there's actually been a lot of things that's happened in laboratories, whether they've exploded them or done something, spilling something on something else, has always resulted in something that turns out to be, just what the divinity ordered.
I think one of the cool things about inventors and chemists and things like that is, some of them at least, when they have an experiment or something go awry, they don't just throw away the result. They observe the result and see, what happened and what they can get out and learn from it. Like
Exactly.
they observe the new chemical compound that they created or new invention.
Mhm.
I think that's really smart.
Yeah, definitely.
So don't throw your failures away. Look at them and, use them for something.
Or do like we did, we ate it. So.
Yeah. Continuing on the article, a couple of other ways you can change your toxic positivity, as we call it. Instead of saying everything will work out in the end, say, this is really hard. I am thinking for you, or praying for you, or feeling for you. You can substitute whatever you want in that. Instead of saying positive vibes only, that's a very I don't like that at all. Instead of saying that, say I'm here for you, both the good times and the bad times. Instead of saying if I can do it, so can you, say everyone's story, abilities, limitations are different, and that's okay. Instead of saying delete negativity, that's another one I don't like.
Delete, delete, delete.
Say suffering is a part of life and you are not alone. Instead of saying look for the silver lining, say I see you and I'm here for you. Instead of saying everything happens for a reason, say sometimes we can draw the short straw in life. How can I support you during this hard time? Instead of saying it could be worse, say that sucks. I'm so sorry you're going through this. So, concluding, being a healthy human being involves being conscious of ourselves and how we show up in the world. If you recognize yourself as a transmitter of toxic positivity, it's time to cut it out.
Chop, chop.
You're hurting yourself and the people you care about the most by insisting on this melochromatic mindset. Instead of practicing toxic positivity, aim for balance and the acceptance of both good and bad emotions rather than all or nothing thinking. If you're being influenced by toxic positivity, they encourage you to set healthy boundaries with anyone who passes judgment on your authentic experience and speak your truth. The authors get one chance at this, or we all get one chance at this beautiful, painful, imperfect life. Embrace it entirely, and you'll reap the rewards of bountiful aliveness.
Mhm.
That's a pretty cool article. I like that.
Yeah, I'd say that was really, really good. Makes a lot of sense, So, and like we had said, too many times we think of negativity being the toxic one, when we can be overdosing and barfing on sunshine after a while. So.
Yeah. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we're going to get into Major League Monday. The people that I usually do Major League Monday with, they're both not here today, so it'll just be me. I'm just going to let you know I'm not very vast in the sports world, but I will cover what I know. So,
Triple P's batting average. It's the PPP batting average.
There is an interesting thing in baseball that's happening that's involving the checks for sticky stuff on the pitchers. It didn't go so well. So we're going to go ahead and discuss that, which is a pretty funny ordeal, and other stuff that's happening in the sports world. In just a moment, you're listening to the Wright Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM.
Hey, everyone.
To the Wright Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. Welcome back to the Wright Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. It is time for Major League Monday. And first off, we're going to cover some happenings at in Wright State Athletics. We're going to start with Travis Trice joining Wright State men's basketball staff. So Wright State men's basketball head coach Scott Nagy announced Wednesday the addition of Travis Trice as an assistant coach for the Raiders. We're excited to add Travis to our program. He brings a lot of experience and local connection as a head high school coach in Dayton, Nagy said. He is a great fit for our program who values the right things and will help our players grow. Trice comes to Wright State after serving as the head girls basketball coach at Wayne High School since July of 2017, when he previously was the head boys basketball coach for the preceding 10 years. He won conference titles in 9 of his 14 total seasons as a head coach, including the 2015 OHSAA State Championship, while 49 of his players went on to play collegiate basketball, including 24 at the Division I level. Additionally, Trice coached the 2015 Ohio High School Coaches Association Mr. Basketball, his son Travis Rice,
Nice.
and 2021 McDonald's All-American Aubriana Brehall. Trice was a 1990 Indiana All-Star and one of the top 10 ranked point guards nationally in 1990 and was inducted into Indiana High School Basketball Hall of Fame in 2015.
Woo, way to go. Awesome.
Nice. He played collegiately at Purdue and Butler, appearing in 114 games over the 4 years, with a pair of NIT appearances and an NCAA tournament appearance. So, nice. Welcome, Travis Trice. A Raider trio earns the HL All-Academic Honors. So, the Horizon League released its 2021 Outdoor Track and Field All-Academic Teams on Wednesday, recognizing student athletes for success both in competition and in the classroom. 3 Wright State student athletes were among the 15 female student athletes who were honored in balloting by the league's faculty athletics representatives. The trio of Shelby Nolan, Abigail Halsey, and Tiffany Ward were each recognized for their successes. A physical education major, Nolan holds 3 outdoor Wright State school records in both the 1,500-meter, 5,000-meter, and 10,000-meter, while also holding the Horizon League record in the 10,000-meter with her time of 34 minutes and 42.6 seconds. The White House, Ohio native was named the 2021 Alfreda Golf Outdoor Athlete of the Year. Sorry, golf, not golf. A physical education major, Halsey, took first place in the women's 3,000-meter steeplechase at the 2021 Horizon League Outdoor Championship with her time of 10 minutes, 50.98 seconds, and is now third all-time on the Raiders' 3,000-meter steeplechase top 10. Notably, she was also named to the 2021 Indoor Track and Field All-Academic Team earlier this month. A psychology major, Ward set a season-best 5,000 meters with a time of 19 minutes, 56.69 seconds. A 3,000-meter best with a time of 11 minutes, 48.69 seconds. And a season-best 3,000 steeplechase with a time of 12 minutes, 35.75 seconds.
Wow, impressive.
The West Carrollton native was named the 2020 Spring Horizon League Academic Honor Roll. The Horizon League recognizes student athletes with seasonal academic all-league teams in each of its 19 championship sports. To be eligible for Horizon League all-academic consideration, a student athlete must have a cumulative grade point average of 3.2 or higher, have completed at least 1 year at the member institution, having earned 24 semester hour or 36 quarter hour credits, and participate in 50% of the team's overall contests. Alex Sogard is named the 2021 Collegiate National Team Coaching Staff. Wright State head baseball coach Alex Sogard has been named to the 2021 USA Baseball Collegiate National Team Coaching Staff, USA Baseball announced on Wednesday afternoon. This year's USA Baseball Collegiate team will feature 48 of the top non-draft eligible collegiate players in the country on 2 24-man rosters, the Stars and Stripes, with Sogard tapped to manage the Star Squad. I'm extremely honored for this opportunity. To be able to wear USA across my chest has always been a lifelong dream, Sogard said. I'm also thrilled that I get to coach alongside my former college coach, Elliot Avent. He is a mentor of mine. He is an incredible person, and he's someone I've always looked up to. He had a tremendous impact on me as a person, a player, and now a coach, and coaching with him will be something I will cherish forever. I'm very grateful and excited to wear the colors and represent this great country. You can read more about this at WSURaiders.com. So, so that is the latest news with regards to Wright State athletics. Let's go to other athletics around the nation. First off, the road to Tokyo. We're going to start with tennis. Serena Williams is the latest player to say that she is not going to the Olympics. Williams would not tell reporters at her pre-Wimbledon press conference why she's decided to sit out the games this year, although she had previously said that the travel restrictions would prevent her from taking her 3-year-old daughter Olympia with her. Also from Yahoo Sports, gymnastics, Team USA is set for Tokyo. Sam Mikolak will lead the U.S. men's gymnastics team, the third Olympics for the 6-time national champ. He will be joined by Brody Malone, Yoel Madauer, and Shane Wiskus. On the women's side, Simone Biles leads 5 first-time Olympians. Sunisa Lee, Jordan Childs, Grace McCallum, and Jade Carey, and Michaela Skinner as they look to match the 2016 team's record medal haul. The woman who accidentally caused the biggest pileup on Tour de France history is still at large from both police who want to question her and the tour itself who wants to sue her.
Ooh.
Sign Lady, as she's become known on social media, was holding up a cardboard sign for a TV camera when German cyclist Tony Martin rode right into it, causing a domino effect that left dozens of riders piled up on top of each other during the first stage of the race.
Holy crap. Good job, girl. Oh, it's awful.
I'm curious as to what the Tour de France did about that. I wonder if they restarted the race or anything like that, because that's unfortunate.
That's very unfortunate.
Wow. So let's talk a little bit about this baseball sticky check. I'm going to try and pull an article up here. So we're going to go to I'm going to try and do the Washington Post. They might have me on a paywall. Let's see here. Nope. Okay, we're good. By Wednesday morning, the second since Major League Baseball began to enforce its crackdown on the use of foreign substances by pitchers, part of the sport-wide reaction could be summed up in a series of snapshots and sound bites. Washington Nationals general manager Mike Rizzo went on the radio and called Philadelphia Phillies manager Joe Girardi a con artist for both requesting to have Max Scherzer checked in the 4th inning on Tuesday night, then defending the move as an honest ask and not an effort to rattle Scherzer. On MLB Network Radio, Nationals left fielder Kyle Schwarber called Girardi's decision a little bush league. Scherzer had nearly dropped his pants before the umpires rubbed his hair, searching for a sticky substance, and nothing was found. Yeah, this seems to be Scherzer seems to be the icon for kind of giving the general consensus as to how people are reacting to this pitcher check for foreign substances. Scherzer, this isn't in the article, but Scherzer was checked 3 times during that game. I believe the first time was actually in the 1st inning, and then a couple innings later was the second time, and then the third time when they wanted to check his hair because he was doing stuff with his hat and rubbing his hair, and they wanted to check his hair for foreign substances.
Oh, come on. People do sweat, It's not like you got sticky crap in your hair.
Yeah, but the officials wanted to check him, and at that point, since this was his 3rd check, he's kind of given up on them, and he's holding out his hands, and he's even undoing his belt as if he was about to drop his pants. He's like, I got nothing.
I would have dropped my pants for sure. Be like, here, check my butt. I'll give you something sticky. So, yeah.
And he's like,
That's crazy.
yeah, he's like, come on, man. I got nothing. Why do you need to check my hair and stuff like that? And the umpires persisted. So, even after doing the pants thing, so finally he, you know, took off his head and he's like, what do you want to do? Run your hands through my hair? And as soon as he took his hat off, they did. They ran, they ran their hands through his hair, and that I watched the clip of this happening, and I thought it was pretty creepy, if you ask me. Like, just the fact, it seems like a big invasion of privacy on pitchers. And not only this, but this is happening in front of an audience. This is happening on the field.
Full ball field of people.
Yeah.
Spectators. Yeah.
So I could just imagine how embarrassed
embarrassing.
Scherzer was.
Embarrassing and just intimidating.
Yeah. So I get it. The MLB wants to ensure a fair, ball game and things like that, but I don't think this is the way to do it. If you want to check pitchers, you should do so before the game starts, first off. And secondly, if you do have to check them in the middle of a game, take them off the field and check them in the locker room or something.
Or in the dugout, for crying.
Or in the dugout, yeah. Well, the dugouts, there are cameras that can face the dugout and show what's going on TV, so the dugout may not necessarily be...
Take them back to the freaking locker room.
Yeah.
Or have some personal, space in the dugout where it's secluded so nobody has to worry about anything.
Yeah, because, this is... I'm with Scherzer on this. It's a big invasion of privacy because when umpires want to check you for foreign substances, that could kind of damage your reputation, even if you don't have a foreign substance, because people are going to ask, why are they? Yeah, people are going to talk. They're going to gossip.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the Scherzer incident has been a big trending story.
Deal. It's been a big sticky deal, that's for sure.
Continuing the article from the Washington Post, in California, Los Angeles Dodgers starter Clayton Kershaw suggested Girardi and every other manager should face punishment if they request a mid-inning check and the pitcher is clean. In Texas, Oakland Athletics receiver Sergio Romo did lower his pants in protest of the now regular checks. Okay, so we did have somebody who actually...
We got more pants lowers there. Way to go.
But stopping around his thighs. These were early results of MLB's attempt to eliminate doctoring the ball with foreign substances or sticky stuff and level the playing field between pitchers and hitters. And it all made it look as if Tuesday's events and the screaming from dugout to dugout in Philadelphia are the pressing issue with MLB's enforcement efforts, which began this week. But every dust-up fades. Some do faster than others. In his post-game news conference, Scherzer instead directed reporters to a pitch he threw at the at-bat before Girardi had his hat, hair, and gloves belt inspected. It wasn't the 95-mile-per-hour fastball that struck out Alec Boehm swinging. It was the 95-mile-per-hour fastball that soared toward Boehm's face.
Oh.
And since last week, Scherzer had argued that pitchers need grip, or tack, as he calls it, to control pitchers and avoid hitting and injuring batters. Excuse me one second. I'm hearing some noises here. Okay. False alarm. It's just tour guides. I thought somebody was shouting outside.
Oh, God.
I had to take my headset off for a moment to see what's going on. Continuing the article, the MLB official said Wednesday that the sport is continuing to look into using a pre-tacked ball or universal substance to help pitchers maintain grip. And they're developing prototypes, but neither seems likely to arrive anytime soon. That pitch specifically is the pitch I fear the most, Scherzer, who is 36-year-old and an influential member of the Players Union, said of the high and tight fastball that almost hit them. Excuse me 1 second. Hey, did you want to get a tour of the station?
Because we're on the air.
Okay. We have we have some tour guides that are coming around campus today and checking out the university, planning to come in fall semester. So that's really cool. Got a couple of people checking out the station. So shout out to them. And if anybody's listening, if you want to join WWSU as a DJ and have your own live show, you can hit up the general manager at WWSU1 at Wright.edu. There's also a link on the website wwsu1069.org, and you could click Become a DJ on there to learn more about the DJ program. But continuing the article, Scherzer, who is 36-year-old and an influential member of the Players Union, said that pitch specifically is the pitch I fear the most, of the high and tight fastball that almost hit Boehm. I don't want to throw that pitch. I never want to throw a ball near somebody's head, and tonight in the previous at-bat, I was able to get a fastball by him on an inside fastball, and I was literally trying to throw the same exact pitch, and it just slips out of my hand and ends up near his face. Thank God it did not hit him in the face. So this is another concern of the sticky substance check. So some pitchers are arguing that the substances that they put on their hands helps them to better control the fastball so that they don't injure and hit players. 2 pitches later, once Boehm was retired, Girardi signaled for a check and kept touching his hat. And I mentioned that. After the game, Girardi justified the check by saying he had never seen Scherzer remove his hat and rub his hands through his hair so much. Scherzer explained that without any other substances, he was left to mix rosin with spit or sweat to get a grip on his pitches. And because he was sick of tasting rosin while licking his fingers, and because it was a cooler night in Philadelphia, the only sweat he could find was in his hair. And there is a fine line between a good faith request, which the umpires felt Girardi made Tuesday night, and a request to disrupt a pitcher's rhythm, which can get a manager fined or suspended, according to MLB's enforcement memo. And there is also a fine line between substances that enhance performance, such as spider tack, or blends that aid grip to improve control, such as rosin and sunscreen. I didn't know that, Billy.
Go figure.
I didn't know they used sunscreen. That's interesting.
That's very interesting. You figure that would be kind of slippery.
Often these efforts are one and the same. Sticky substances help pitchers throw baseballs very hard and in the strike zone. Scherzer and others can argue for better safety, and pitches such as the one to Boehm, a screaming fastball at his teeth, are good supporting evidence. And so was the 90-mile-per-hour heater that broke Nationals pitcher Austin Voth's nose at Citizens Bank Park on June 6th.
Oh, yeah.
And this is why Scherzer and Nationals manager Dave Martinez have lobbied for a universal substance for pitchers. But the flip side is that intentions are hard to decode. In most cases, it is impossible to know how a pitcher is utilizing sticky stuff, yet easy to see his climbing spin rates or a fastball that appears unhittable. You can read more at the Washington Post, but we have to conclude the show, so we're going to give a quick rundown of the weather. It is mostly clear and 85 degrees currently at Wright State University, according to tomorrow.io. The wind is coming from the southwest at 9 miles per hour. The humidity is 55%. The visibility is 10 miles, and the air quality is good. Forecast for the next 12 hours shows clear to partly cloudy skies. It's going to hit about 90 degrees by 2 p.m., and then our high temperature of 91 by 3 p.m. It's going to start cooling off not until after 7 p.m., when it finally gets into the 70s after 10 p.m. The forecast for today does call for a slight chance of thunderstorms in the afternoon, so be sure to pack your umbrella tonight, this afternoon and tonight.
Listen to tornado sirens if there's any.
I don't think there's going to be any severe weather today, so the National Weather Service is not calling for severe weather.
I don't feel that either. It's just going to be hot, but it's polar bear time in Harmony's apartment.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the Rat Morning Show and making us a part of your morning. Thank you, Harmony and Laughing Chipmunk, for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
No problem.
Thank you for having me, too.
And we will see you every weekday morning from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on the station. Tomorrow is Trivia Tuesday, so be sure to tune in for that. Gather your friends and family around tomorrow for a nice game of trivia.
Yay.
Everybody have a great day, and we'll see you back tomorrow.
Yo, this is Shinobi Ninja. When we don't want to hear the same 10 songs throughout the day, we listen to WWSU 106.9 FM.